Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi back at it again with another Bethesda News Roundup video, where I break down all the most recent Bethesda news, rumors, and speculation, and I do have a few interesting things to talk about in today's video. There has been a recent update to the official Starfield trademark, a new discovery in regards to the new Zenimax Online, next-gen massive online MMORPG, and on top of that we have a few other interesting things involving Microsoft and another potential huge studio or company acquisition. Hopefully you all had a good weekend. I had an awesome weekend, a pretty amazing stream as well, and I did announce during my community stream that I will be streaming more here often soon. I don't know if that's... Anyway, I will be streaming a lot more often here very soon, and I will announce a schedule this week as well. And speaking of extended channel stuff, if you want to get a bullshit capacity meter t-shirt, you can over on the official Skullzi merch site on Teespring. You can check for a link down in the description below to get a shirt to let everyone know that your BS capacity meter is always running at 0%. Now let's not waste any more time and get to today's information, and we're going to start things off real quick with that update to the Starfield trademark. For those OG subscribers of my channel, you're probably familiar with this entire process. Basically, whenever a company files a trademark, in this circumstance Bethesda, when Bethesda filed a trademark for Starfield, they essentially had 6 months to prove to the United States Patent and Trademark Office that they do actually have a product related to the Starfield trademark, and this kind of thing prevents companies from just owning trademarks without actually putting products out there related to the trademark name. That way companies can't just own names and hoard potential product names. They actually have to do something related to the name. But if Bethesda didn't get Starfield done after the 6 months from when the trademark was accepted and filed, which obviously didn't happen, they get 5 additional 6-month extensions. And as you can see here, the most recent update to the main trademark regarding Starfield happened on January 28th, or at least it was approved on January 28th, and this is the 3rd extension, as you can see here. And using the power of ye old math, we can deduct that 6 months times 3, because this is the beginning of the 3rd extension, which means we get the entirety of the 3rd extension, a 4th extension, and a 5th extension, which means that Starfield has no more than a year and a half to be finished before Bethesda would have to abandon this Starfield trademark and file another one and go through the entire process all over again. And yes, even though Bethesda can afford to do that a billion times now because they have $7 billion from Microsoft, the thing is, most companies would essentially want to avoid doing this, because you do somewhat risk another company paying attention to when your trademark could expire, and then they swoop in and they try to file one using that name for their own product. So a company could essentially steal the Starfield name for their own product. However, chances of that happening are very, very slim, and if we add a year and a half from January of 2021, that puts you smack dab in the middle of 2022, which means that potentially the latest Starfield could essentially come out is in November of 2022, because I believe that Bethesda proves to the United States and Patent Trademark Office that they do have Starfield ready for sale. They still have a few months to actually get it out into the market, so if their 5th deadline ended in the middle of 2022, which is usually June when E3 happens anyway, they could announce the game and then release it in November that year. So unfortunately, it is possible for Starfield to come out next year. However, in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. I believe that Bethesda just kind of allowed this trademark to go into 2022 as a fail-safe in case something happened during the development process that caused the game to be delayed substantially. They're trying to think ahead here, and that's smart. I still believe their target for the game is November of 2021, and there is evidence to support that as well. But either way, I don't want to focus too much on the Starfield trademark. Just a quick update to that situation for those who are invested and interested in trademark updates, because they do actually give us some insight into when we should expect games like Starfield to be released. Next up, we got another discovery related to the next-gen MMORPG from Zenimax Online Studios, and this is related to a job discovery, which, like the trademark filing, may not be as fun or interesting as, say, a dev interview or a leaked screenshot, but the thing is, both job postings and trademark filings do give us some insight into the secretive inner workings of game studios. And this job posting right here is interesting because I'll have to activate glasses mode for this one to break it down. But as you can see here, it was posted 2 days ago, and it is for a player movement system designer. And you can see it is for Zenimax Online Studios, who are the developers behind the Elder Scrolls Online, like a lot of you know, and who are working on the next-gen MMORPG that we don't know much about as of this time, but you can see according to some of like actual tenants in this job posting, they're going very, very in-depth with the actual development process of just the player movement system. You can see here that they want to experiment with new prototype movement systems and fine-tune it and combine it in fun ways to make the range of possibilities that the player movements can have in the game be a lot more expansive than usual, and they want you to be able to make movement fluid, fun, and traversal. And I mean, a lot of this might be normal. You want your movement system in games to be fluid, fun, and traversal, I guess, as the phrasing here says. But the thing is that there seems to be a very, very heavy focus in both my neighbor, who is currently doing fancy snowplow stuff, and the actual wording in this job posting. You can see just how gigantic it is just for player movement. And again, we have more focus on actual encounters in the game, so I wonder what this game is going to be. I already broke down a job posting for a pretty unique camera system that's supposed to change depending on what the character actions are. So that combined with the character movement system, which looks like it's going to be pretty interesting as well, makes me believe this MMORPG will truly feel like a next-gen MMO, like Zenimax Online Studios has been saying. And like I said, my neighbor decided now is a good time, because I'm recording my audio, to bring out his fancy snowplow that sounds like it's a vertibird taking off to evacuate people from a nuclear fallout. But the next thing I want to talk about is more industry insiders are claiming that Microsoft is indeed in some sort of huge purchase or acquisition situation similar to the Bethesda one right now. And like I've been saying, a lot of the evidence seems to suggest this could be Ubisoft, but that's just speculation. However, with the amount of insiders now with credible reputations that are claiming this is happening, I feel like it's pretty safe to say that there is some kind of huge acquisition going on. And this makes me wonder if perhaps the US government may eventually step in and make Microsoft stop these acquisitions, because when a company expands in such a huge way, the government kind of views that as an attempted monopoly. But that's kind of a weird law, because the government seems to just allow some monopolies to happen but stop other ones. But as you can see here, industry insider Xbox Ragnar says that Microsoft should announce whatever this acquisition is at the end of 2021 or the beginning of 2022. And if it does end up being Ubisoft, like a lot of the rumors are suggesting, that would be a huge blow to Sony, because now Microsoft would have both Bethesda and Ubisoft, who are two huge companies that have a wide range of content and games, and exclusivity seems to have been Sony's main playing card for so long now that it seems like Microsoft is gaining on them in that regard. And exclusivity, like a lot of big industry people in the gaming industry have been saying, is slowly being phased out, and in another gaming console generation or two, exclusivity will mostly just be a thing of the past. Having to buy a certain platform just to get access to a type of game will kind of be minimalized because of subscription services like Game Pass, streaming things, and just other stuff like that. And speaking of Xbox and Game Pass, Xbox just announced that they have over 18 million Game Pass subscribers, which is huge, just huge to think about, and it shows you just why Microsoft is trying to put so much focus into Game Pass. And especially for Bethesda, Game Pass is a great thing, because I believe when a game is taken off Game Pass, you can't continue to play that game, which means if you download the game from Game Pass, let's say you download Starfield, you'll be able to play Starfield, right, until it's taken off Game Pass, and then you have to buy it and continue. Now, I'm not sure if this is the case, but let's say Starfield is taken off Game Pass and you want to continue your save, you have to pay for it again, and Bethesda games are usually such gigantic games that you will never be able to finish their game within a time period that it is available on Game Pass. However, I think I might be wrong about this and just rambling, because I believe that Bethesda games will pretty much be available on Game Pass at all times permanently, which is a huge freaking value if you're a Bethesda fan. But I don't know if that's the case either. Bethesda games may only be available on Game Pass, or at least Bethesda games as huge as Starfield or The Elder Scrolls 6 may only be available on Game Pass for like a few months, and then they'll be taken off because they're high caliber games and they want you to purchase the game to continue your save, because these are like 500-hour games. But either way, you can see Microsoft is growing greatly here. I think it's because of all their expansions, and if they do get Ubisoft, whatever it is, like I've been saying, that's going to be huge for them. I tend to not be a fanboy of any particular company, but I mean, Microsoft is doing some pretty power moves here, and seeing how Sony has kind of been trying to hold the industry back in terms of crossplay, I am a little bit jaded towards PlayStation. PlayStation seems to be holding back the ability for gaming as an ecosystem to be one ecosystem instead of separate islands based on your platform, and I think Sony's being forced to join the modern phase of gaming now by opening up their crossplay a little bit more. But let's move on to the last couple of things I want to talk about in today's video before I activate fanboy mode down in the comments. And these last couple of things are pretty quick, but Commander Keen recently celebrated its 30th anniversary, and it's kind of low-key sad because Commander Keen was a pretty big thing in the industry back in like the 80s and the 90s. It's where the Dope Fish, I believe, first originated, which is an Easter egg in like every id Softworks game from Doom to Quake and beyond. And the most recent Commander Keen game that was supposed to come out was that mobile game that was announced at E3 2019 and then was basically low-key cancelled. So kind of sucks that Commander Keen is in limbo and potentially could be abandoned for who knows how long, but hey, the 30th anniversary happened, so yay! So that's gonna finish up today's video. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And if you want to help grow the channel and the community, be sure to share the content, share the channel, because the YouTube algorithm really doesn't help small channels grow. And since I've been asking you all to share the content, the channel's been growing a lot faster, so thank you for that, huge appreciation. And speaking of appreciation, huge shout out to these amazing people for going above and beyond to bring you content like this. If you want to get your name added to this video shout out list and get a video shout out in every one of my videos from this point forward, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when we're one day closer to me finishing the first episode of an animated series I'm working on based on the Elder Scrolls 6 and Skyrim and stuff.